Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine and are safe at home. Welcome back to my channel, Economic Zone by Diksha Ahuja. In today's video, I have come up again with chapter number 4 or Unit 4 Government Budget and the Economy Part 2. In this video, we will be covering components of government budget. And to know the content, the learning objective of the entire unit, you can watch my first video of the chapter. And if you like the videos, the first one and this one as well, do like and subscribe my channel. Let us understand components of government budget. Any country's government budget can be divided into two subparts: budget receipts and budget expenditure. Why is it so? Because obviously any government will get some income from some sources and they will use this income in expenditure of the country for the welfare of the economy or many other cases. So let us understand both the things, that is budget receipts first of all, and then the second half will tell you budget expenditure explanation. So first of all, budget receipts that can be divided into two types: revenue receipt and capital receipt. So let us start with revenue receipts explanation and understanding. So revenue receipts. Now the definition you can see here is it neither increases the liability nor decreases the asset. So I'll give you a very good fundamental trick to learn these all definition of the chapter. Let's understand. Receipt means income of the government. जब government के पास income आती है, right? When the government get the income? When either they sell the asset, या तो वो अपना asset sell करती है, or it gets tension in the form of liability. Let's say borrowings. When I borrow from somebody, I get a receipt. But at the same time, there is an increase in liability. But this revenue receipts are those receipts of the government which neither increases the liability, ना ही वो liability increase करती हैं ऐसी receipts, nor decreases the asset, ना ही वो asset को decrease करती हैं. तो these receipts are reoccurring in nature. So it can be divided into two subparts: tax, which you all know that tax is a major source of income of the government, and secondly non-tax receipts, which is also a good source of the government's income. So let us understand this tax and non-tax receipts. First, tax revenue receipts. You all know what is tax. Tax is a compulsory payment which the individuals have to give to the government without expecting anything in return. It is a kind of transfer payment जो हमें देनी ही पड़ती है to the government, right? So it can be divided into two subparts: direct taxes and indirect taxes. So this will tell you that what is the difference between direct taxes and indirect taxes. A very important question in CBSE. So let us understand what is the difference between direct taxes and indirect taxes. First, let us understand direct taxes. When income tax is levied on you, let's say your income is 15 lakh. If your income is chargeable on income tax and it is charged, let's say 10%, you need to give 10% of your income as income tax. Can you shift the burden of this tax to somebody else? No, you cannot shift. So you can say the burden of direct tax cannot be shifted. And indirect taxes, the burden can be shifted. How? Let's say you go to MACD, let's say, you can shift the burden of the MACD charge to your friend. Or for example, let's say there's a charge on the tobacco, on the producer of tobacco. So what the producer of tobacco will do? He will shift that indirect tax to you as a consumer. So this indirect tax can be shifted from the producer to the consumer, right? So I have explained the second basis first of all. Now let us understand the first basis, that is impact. On which points they impact? Direct taxes impact individual and companies, and on which they affect? दे इफेक्ट इनकम एंड प्रॉपर्टी, वो इनकम को कम करता है, प्रॉपर्टी को कम करता है, राइट. इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस आर imposed on goods and services. Okay, so I have explained first one as well. First one says impact, it is levied on companies and individuals. Indirect taxes levied on goods and services. Third, nature. Direct taxes are progressive in nature. How? Because it is levied on rich people. Wealth tax, income tax, जिनके पास property होगी, obviously we will charge those people only. So it is good for the progress of the economy. On the other hand, indirect taxes are regressive, that is bad for the economy because it puts burden on the middle class or the lower middle class people who goes to purchase normal goods and services. Last example, direct taxes can be wealth tax, income tax, property tax, and indirect taxes example GST, custom duty, and many more. I hope from this video you will be able to understand the difference between direct taxes and indirect taxes, and you will learn it for the exam. So next is non-tax revenue receipts. What are non-tax revenue receipts? All those receipts other than taxes which the government gives, right? It refers to those receipts of the government from all the sources other than taxes. Taxes को छोड़ के और सारी छोड़ी, like recurring income. For example, gifts and grants, fees and fines, interest received on loans, escheat, profits earned by public sector undertakings, and so on. So let us understand few of them. First, gifts and grants. When any government, let's say our government only, central government of India, gets grant from USA government, we are happy, our government is happy that they have got gift from, or grant. Grant is a lump sum amount which the other country is giving to one country. So when we get grant in the form of money, we are getting receipt. Is there any increase in the liability or decrease in the asset? No. That's why we are saying these are revenue receipts. And why this is non-tax? Because these all kind of receipts are not of tax basis. ये tax नहीं है, these are other than taxes. Now second, fees and fines. When you take your license from the government, when you issue your license, when you issue your passport, you give passport fees, license fees. This fees goes to the government in the form of receipts. When you have, what kind of fines it is talking about? Let's say you are not wearing helmet, then you will be charged a fine by a policeman, right? So this fine will be devoted to the government, and therefore it is a kind of non-tax revenue receipt for the government. When the government gives loans, it gets interest. It is also a kind of non-tax revenue receipt. Fourth, escheat. Now what do you mean by escheat? This is important. Escheat means when a person who is not having any legal hire dies and his property is left over. Who takes that property? Government. So government gets एक अच्छा खासा property. This is known as non-tax revenue receipt. I repeat, tax is different kind of receipt. This we are talking about escheat. Escheat means when any person who is not having legal hire dies, the property goes to the government. It is a kind of revenue receipt. Next, when public sector undertaking, let's say railway sector earns some profit, this profit will go to government. You can see the pictures for the same. So next is capital receipts. Now what are capital receipts? Which either creates a liability or causes reduction in asset. Till now we have studied revenue receipts that used to say that revenue receipts are those receipts which neither creates a liability nor causes reduction in asset. मतलब उस केस में ना ही एसेट इंक्रीज होता था, ना ही लाइबिलिटी डिक्रीज होती थी, but the government used to get the money, the receipt. But in this case, the government will get the money, receipt, by either of the case. Either the liability will increase with the receipt or the asset will reduce. Let's understand this with the help of few examples. The very good example of capital receipt is borrowings. You should always remember, this is the main example. So what are borrowings? When our central bank, one central bank borrows from some other central banks or RBI or other financial institutions, World Bank, etc. So why borrowings is a capital receipt? Because when we get receipts in the form of borrowings, it brings liabilities with it. It also brings liabilities with it. So it is known as capital receipt. The next example I have is the recovery of loan. Now let me explain this. So recovery of loan means, let's say the central government has given loan to state and union territories. When we give loan to somebody, that person becomes the debtor for us. Debtor means the person who owes us money. So when they recover their loan, our money has come back. Because as the loan has recovered, we have got our money back. So our debtors have reduced. Debtors are considered to be asset. So I can say indirectly that our assets have reduced. So if I'll ask you why recovery of loan is a capital asset, you will answer it is a capital asset because there is reduction in asset, because there is a reduction in debtors. Next, disinvestment. I think everybody knows what is disinvestment. When the public sector, the government, sells its shares to private sector. Let's say example is we are having with NDPL. It has given some power to Tata, right? It has become a public-private partnership of Tata Power and NDPL. So when the government sector sells its shares partly or fully to private sector, it is known as disinvestment. Here we get the receipt. Government gets the receipt. Government को money मिलता है. But उसने क्या बेचा? He has sold the shares to the private sector. उसने अपना asset कम किया है. Right? They have reduced their asset. Shares is also a kind of asset. So I can say yes. Disinvestment is a capital receipt because there is a reduction in asset, the sale of asset. So we can understand few examples: borrowings, recovery of loan, disinvestment, small savings. Small savings means when the post office keep some amount with them, so it creates liability of the government because they need to pay back the general public. They are liable to pay the general public their money back. We have in this video, the second half is budget expenditure, which is of two types again: revenue expenditure and capital expenditure, though it is simpler than the receipts version. So let us understand it quickly. Let's go. What is revenue expenditure? First of all, let us understand the meaning of expenditure. Expenditure means kharcha. Where the government do this expenditure? At many places. It builds up bridges, it gives subsidies. So let us divide these examples into two parts. So first is revenue expenditure. Expenditure means when we do some expenditure, या तो कुछ asset create होगा. It either creates an asset. Let's say if you build up a house, you spend 20 lakhs, but at the same time you get the asset. There is a construction of a house, right? So expenditure, when we do the expenditure, we get an asset, or we pay off the loan, then also we do the expenditure, but the liability is reduced. But revenue expenditure says all those expenditure of the government which neither increases the asset nor reduction in liability. because ऐसे expenditures government के which neither, ना ही वो asset increase करते हैं, ना ही वो liability reduce करते हैं, but they do the expenditure for the government. Let's understand with the examples. Few examples are subsidies, interest payment on loans, payment of salaries by the government to government employees, and so on. Right? So why subsidies is a revenue expenditure? Because when we are providing subsidies to farmers, let's say, so there's no increase in asset nor reduction in liability. ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, but then also the government has to do this expenditure for the sake of welfare in the economy. One more example I can give is pensions. Right? When the government give old age pension, there's no reduction in liability or increase in asset. Right? So these are all the examples which we can have in revenue expenditure, in which there is neither increase in the asset, ना ही कोई asset create हो रहा है, nor reduction in liability. So the next type of expenditure is capital expenditure. So the question arises, what is capital expenditure? These are those expenditures which either increases the asset or decrease the liability of the government? Let's take few examples to understand it. Let's say we are saying that a government constructed a school building. So in this case, government did the expenditure, let's say 1 crore or 2 crore, but at the same time, they get an asset. They get a school building. So yes, it is a capital expenditure of the government. Second example, that purchase of machinery. When a government purchases machinery, it does the expenditure. Yes, definitely. But at the same time, there is an increase in the asset of the government. Thirdly, repayment of loan. Let's say the government had taken loan 3 years back and now the government of India has repaid the loan. So after repaying the loan, we did the expenditure for repaying the loan, but at the same time there is a reduction in liability of the government. So yes, we can say that repayment of loan is a capital expenditure because there is a decrease in the liability. We can again recapitulate the definition of capital expenditure that says these are those expenditure which either increases the asset, ऐसे expenditure जो कि या तो asset increase करते हैं or decreases the liability of the government. So this repayment of loan is a capital expenditure because it reduces liability. Fourth one, loan to state and union territories. When the government of India, when the central government gives loan to state and union territories, they make them their debtors, right? So state and union territories will become debtors to the central government. So debtors will be the asset for the government, and there is an increase in the debtors means increase in the asset of the government. So by providing loan, by doing this expenditure, the government is able to make debtors able to make the debtors an asset for them. So next, thank you for watching, students. For more videos and updates, do subscribe the channel. Thank you. Bye bye for today.